G'day guys and welcome to another episode. It's been about 6 weeks since you last saw us on the New South Wales South Coast. Plenty's happened since then, so let me give you a quick catch up on what we've been up to. So from the South Coast of New South Wales, we headed straight up to Armidale. Vicky had 3 days of intensives that she needed to attend at the university there, and so from what she told me, it was pretty bloody intense by the sounds of it. After Armidale, we headed straight down to the New South Wales Central Coast. That's where our mums live, so we spent a bit of time hanging out with them. And then from there we went down to Canberra. We had a bit of a shindig that we needed to attend with the extended family, but it was mostly to celebrate one of my uncle's 85th birthday, so it was a real milestone for him and just a good general catch up for the whole family. From Canberra, we headed straight back to the Central Coast. We had to hang out there for a couple of weeks. We needed to get a few minor repairs done on the caravan. We also got it serviced and we got a brand spanking new awning put on her as well. Now, the old one was pretty loose and flappy, and any time a breeze came up, you felt like it was going to blow over the other side of the caravan. So we're pretty stoked now to have a nice, tight, brand spanking new one on with us. So for the past couple of weeks, we've been calling a small town called Boggabri home. Now, Boggabri, it's located on the Kamilaroi Highway in between the towns of Gunnedah and Narrabri, which I'm sure most of you heard. But yeah, Boggabri itself, it's not really on the tourist map or one of those places that you really want to stop and see. And to be honest, if you blinked when you were driving through it, you would you completely miss it. It's that small. So why have we been calling it home for the past couple of weeks, you ask? Well, the simple answer to that question is work. So we needed to earn a little bit of money, so I figured while we're working, I'd answer that question that always gets thrown around by anyone who's thinking about going travelling full time. How am I going to earn money on the road? So let's get into it and we'll let you know how we do it. Okay guys, so how do we earn money while we're on the road? Alright, so to start off with, unlike a lot of people who want to go travelling full time, we weren't willing to sell our house to fund our trip, so yeah, that was a big no-no for us. We wanted to keep our house. I think everyone knows these days how expensive the housing market is, and once you're in it, we felt you just do not know what's going to happen, and if you sell your house, are you going to be able to get back into the housing game once you give up the whole travelling full-time game? So yeah, we definitely didn't want to sell the house, so yeah, we've hung on to that. And we're pretty lucky that we don't have a mortgage. So we just decided to rent our house out. We've been pretty lucky to get some long-term tenants in, and so far, touch wood, they have been absolutely perfect, and yeah, we've had no issues with the rent coming in and no issues with the house whatsoever. So yeah, getting rent from our house is one of our main income sources. And that gives us about 1/3 of what we budgeted for our on-road costs while we were travelling around. And our second source of income is from a bit of interest we earn on a savings account that we've got with the bank. Yeah, it just helps us with a bit of that on-road costs as well. So when we combine those two sources of income together, the rent plus the interest from the savings account, that works out to give us approximately half the amount of money that we budgeted for per month for the on-road costs while we were travelling around Australia. Now, just before we go any further, I'm just going to go off on a bit of a tangent and talk a little bit about on-road costs that you need to budget for while you're travelling full-time around Australia. Now, if you think by travelling full-time around Australia it's going to be a cheaper way of living, well, I'm telling you right now, it's bloody not. In our opinion, it's just as expensive to travel around Australia full-time as it is to live in your house. So when you're thinking about doing a budget for full-time travel, just think about everything that you spend at home right now, and that's exactly the way you need to budget. You still have the same food expenses, you have your insurances, you have your medical and health bills, you've still got to pay for your phone and your internet. If you've got a dog like us, there are always vet bills. You've still got your rego payments for your car and your caravan. You're not going to be able to free camp all the time, so you've got to budget in for paying for caravan parks. Occasionally you're going to want to dine out. You're going to have your alcohol expenses, and the list sort of just goes on and on. So you just really got to bear that in mind and think in your head, right, what do I spend and what do I pay for things at home, and pretty much just budget along that similar same line. That's what we've done, and it has been pretty spot on. So it's definitely not a cheaper way of living when you're travelling full-time Australia. So to come back to that original question, how do we earn money while we're travelling full-time? Well, our third source of income is simply through working. So at the moment, while we've still got our dog Buff, Vicky is our primary income earner. So she's a fully qualified nurse, and that really helps us with being able to sort of look forward and think, all right, we might want to earn a bit of money at a certain time in a certain part of the year, and she can then book that work in well in advance. So she signed up with a rural relief agency in New South Wales. When we know we've got to earn a little bit of money, she'll just reach out to the agency and they'll look in their books and see where a nurse is required, and they'll slot her in at a hospital that's usually in a rural area. So we've got to be a little bit flexible on where we're willing to go, but it's also a good way of seeing a bit of rural New South Wales and experience in some of these smaller towns. So as I mentioned, we're in a little town called Boggabri at the moment. This is a 2-week placement, and this is the second time that Vicky has done this. Last year in October, she did a 4-week placement in a town called Muswellbrook in the Upper Hunter area of New South Wales. So while Vicky's working, my job is basically to take care of our dog Buff, but not only that, I get in and do the shopping, I'll do repairs on the caravan or the car, cook dinner, do the washing, all those little chores and things like that. So we don't always plan for just Vicky to be working. Just at this stage, because Buff is such a big dog, we just don't feel real comfortable leaving him in the caravan all day on his own while both of us go off to work. So as I mentioned, it's just so easy with Vicky being a nurse that we can look in advance and we can book some work in for her, and then I can just look after Buff while she's working. Now, we already plan to stop and work in the latter part of this year just to build up some funds for our summer travels, and we're actually both hoping to be working at that time. What we're hopefully planning on doing is maybe getting a house sit wherever Vicky can find some work in a hospital, and then that way we've got a place to leave Buff. I can go out and look for some work, and that way we can both earning some income together. But there's plenty of work out there. We're always seeing jobs and positions posted on the Facebook travel sites. So if you're a tradie, or you've worked in a bar, a nurse, or you're just willing to do anything, which is that's me, you're always going to find work out there. So don't let that hold you back if you're thinking about going travelling full time and you're wondering, how am I going to earn money? There's definitely work out there if you're willing to work. Eventually, we would like to have a 4th income source, and if you've gotten this far in the video and you've enjoyed it, please do us a favour and click on that like and subscribe button. Follow our travels as we're cruising around the country, and you'd be helping us out in a big way to achieve that goal of hopefully getting our YouTube channel monetised and earn a little bit of income from that. Anyway, I hope this little bit of information has helped if you're thinking about going travelling full time. I know it can be daunting thinking about, how am I going to earn money while I'm travelling around Australia, but if you've got that go-get attitude, you're not going to have an issue whatsoever. So let me show you what else we've been up to while we've been out here in Boggabri. So this morning we've driven out to what's known as the Australia Telescope Compact Array. It's not too far outside of Narrabri, and it's run by the CSIRO. As its name suggests, it is a series of telescopes, and the telescopes are being used to monitor radio waves that are being emitted from space. So there are actually 6 of them. You can see there's a bit of a railway track here beside me. So 5 of them are located on that, and this railway track actually runs for a distance of 3 kilometres, so they can move these telescopes up and down this railway track as they see fit. So there's actually 5 of them located on the railway track, and then they have one permanent one located about 5 kilometres from where I am. So each dish is 22 metres wide, and they use these 6 dishes combined together so they can get a better detailed picture of the radio waves that are being emitted from space. So in effect, when they combine them all together, it's like a huge dish, and they reckon it mimics a dish of 6 kilometres in diameter. So yeah, they just move them around so they can monitor different parts of the sky. Astronomers from all around the world can use these dishes. All they need to do is make an application for it. There's a really cool museum here that you can look around, so you can see in the background here there's a museum inside. There's all these types of placards around which is explaining all about the site. It's extremely interesting, to be honest. I didn't think I'd find it that interesting, but it's pretty cool just to stand here and you know, the big telescopes move quite often, so you actually, you know, you hear them moving, see them. When we arrived, they were actually pointed sort of, you know, in a much more angled direction other than pointing straight up as they are now. Yeah, so this is what they call a whispering dish, and there's another whispering dish, I don't know, about 50 metres that way, over there. And yeah, apparently you can talk into them and you'll be able to hear each other over that 50 metre distance, and you don't need to yell or anything like that. And so yeah, we're going to give it a try. Alright, speak.
Hey, can you hear me over there?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy, eh? If you do come down to Narrabri, I certainly highly recommend popping out to see this place because it is extremely interesting and it's free. For the weekend, we camped at the Riverside Retreat, about 15 kilometres south of Narrabri on the banks of the Namoi River. It cost $15 per person per night, and toilets in the form of portaloos are on site. The owners are lovely, and they came down each afternoon just to ensure that we're having a great time. So if you do come and stay at the River Retreat, expect a visit pretty much every day from Darcy. She's a lovely little thing, super friendly, maybe a little bit overfed though. So just to the north of Narrabri, there's a national park called Mount Capatua National Park, and it's remnants of an old volcanic system that was in the area around about 20 million years ago. It actually adds a pretty remarkable landscape for the surrounding area because it's all pretty flat around Narrabri. And just to the north, there's this amazing sort of mountain landscape with these beautiful woodlands and forests. Yeah, there's meant to be some fairly amazing rock formations that have been left behind from the volcanic activity. Yeah, we're just coming out to have a look at one particular area known as Sawn rocks. We'll just take you for a quick look. Being a national park, the only thing is, of course, we can't bring our dog in here, Buff, so Vicky and I are just taking it in turns. Yeah, so these are the Sawn rocks, guys. The main formation that we've come to see here in the Mount Capatua National Park. They've been formed just during all the volcanic activity that was in the area just around about 20 million years ago, and just a certain way that the lava has cooled and what's been left behind over millions of years of erosion since then just leaves these organ pipes behind, and just over time they've broken away and just left this pretty cool formation behind. So it's yeah, pretty remarkable place to come and see actually. It's really cool. Not too many people out here, so and the walking path out here it's perfect, you know, wheelchair accessible, so yeah, highly recommend it. Just a nice easy, maybe 750 metre walk from the car park. So from the viewing platform up above, there's this great set of stairs that come down to the creek base, just below where the rock formation is, just behind me here. And yeah, it's really cool. You can actually come down and see the large sections that have been falling off over the millions of years that it's been here, and just give you a really good idea close up of how cool the formation looks. I mean, you can understand why they call them the Sawn rocks. It literally looks like someone has been down here with some sort of rock saw and just perfectly sawn these sections away. And if you have a look over there, That just gives you a great example of how the rocks have been sawn away and their formation. It's just amazing. Gotta love nature, haven't you? Well, that's our time done and dusted here in Bugabri, guys. We're all virtually packed up and ready to hit the road again. We've got a couple of weeks now until we need to be in Lismore. So we'll be doing a bit of free camping as we head back towards the coast and up in that direction. But yeah, Bugabri's been a good spot just to stop off for a couple of weeks while Vic's done some work. And now we're just looking forward to doing a little bit more camping just before Vicky's got to do a couple of weeks placement in Lismore at the hospital for university. If you've gotten this far, guys, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button. And thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you all on the next one. Say goodbye, Wolf. Doesn't look that impressed, does he? All right, see you guys. Thanks. Easter long weekend. Found ourselves a great little free camp. Little spot called Glen Riddle Rec Reserve. Now look at this beautiful waterhole here. Lovely little waterfall. There's just no one else here. It's unreal.